All right. Looks like we are live. Welcome,
Morning, Greg.
people. Good morning, Gen. Or good evening, Gen. How's it going?
Yes, it's going well, thanks. 75 and sunny in California. How about yourself?
Beautiful. Rainy and polluted looking in Bangkok today, but still a nice day.
All right. Rainy season?
Yeah. I think maybe getting into rainy season. I can't remember. I can't keep my rainy season straight. But
Oh, jeez.
yeah, it's we've had some rain since we've been here, but overall pretty nice.
Sweet.
So yeah, welcome everyone that is joining our room. Most of you guys already know this is part 2 in a maybe 5-part series where we are publicly sourcing, selecting, ordering.
Greg, we still got 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm just giving
Oh, yeah.
everyone an intro. We'll do it again
Okay.
once everyone's.
I don't want anybody to miss anything.
Yeah, don't worry. So welcome, guys. We're in for a lot of fun tonight. Why people are joining here, why don't you go ahead and put something in the chat for us and just say, let us know whether you have been trying to follow along in this process. A lot of you guys know last week we went through how we come up with product ideas. Did anyone follow along with us? Did anyone try to start using the web app? Does anyone use other methods to find product ideas? I want to know, who those people are that are going to try to go along with us in the process of ordering stuff, launching it with us, and that kind of thing. It looks like we're getting a lot of people in the chat box, huh, again?
Coming in quick. I see a lot of Orange County, Oakland, Castle Rock. Super excited. What's up? Everybody is excited, Greg. You did a really great job last week, so thanks for that.
Yeah, so we have quite the worldly crowd as well. New Zealand, Hong Kong, France, a few people from the States. All right. Now it looks like
East Coast.
you put the link
from France. It must be nearing what, 5 a.m. in France?
Yeah, either night out or early bird.
Evan's been indeed trying to follow. Jason's tried the web app, and yeah, it looks like people are really enjoying it too. And I've heard great things and have come across some good products myself. So well done there, Greg.
Awesome. Awesome.
First time.
Cool. So we still have people pouring in here. Again, where's the best place if they missed last week's? Where's the easiest place for them to find the replay link? Is that in the blog?
Yeah, I would say go to the junglescout.com/blog. Currently, the first article there is going to be a recap, so you can breeze through it and read the text. We cover pretty much everything in that hour-and-a-half session, or you can just watch the YouTube link right there embedded in the post. But
awesome.
yeah, I mean, you don't need to pause this and watch that first. You'll definitely get a lot out of this, and then you can go back when you have a moment.
Yeah, and the great thing about watching the live ones is, as you guys know who were with us last week, we want to involve you guys in all this. So, you're the ones that stop us if you have questions and we clarify something or answer, or, if you guys say, hey, explain that more. I mean, this is for you guys, totally. Just want to help all you guys out. So that's what's great about being live in here. It looks like we still have people pouring in. We'll give them a couple more minutes before we go live to make sure everyone can get in before we get started.
Suzanne from Washington State just made it. Glad you arrived. Thank you for being here.
Awesome.
Nick is having fun. A couple people from Colombia.
No Facebook group link on the website. If you want to search for it in Facebook, it is Amazon FBA Competitive Edge. And
I'll drop that in.
Okay, and we'll throw up a link to that in the blog post too. So guys, if you don't already know this, we're going to be documenting this entire journey in our blog. So that'll be a great place to find all these links, the replay videos, link to the Facebook group, and whatever else. Gen's also doing like a whole recap. So, if watching videos isn't your thing, you can read it. We got screenshots in there. And yeah, that's going to be a great place to follow along this entire journey. All right. We still have lots of people introducing themselves, where they're from: Mississippi, New York, North Carolina, Kentucky. Cool. A few people from New York. Ryan's from Queens. All right. Cool. So we will we'll wait, about 2 more minutes until we go live. All right, get started.
So in the meantime, Josh was asking, why are you in Bangkok? Work, or you live there?
Good question, Josh. So I came to Bangkok last week for a conference that the Dynamite Circle hosts. It's called DCBKK, and it is a group of, I think they call it internet entrepreneurs. So different people from software space, or maybe they're podcasters. They run whatever courses, e-commerce companies. They have some kind of business online. It's a group of entrepreneurs. So it's really cool. Got to meet up with some other like-minded people, help each other out. They gave me feedback on how to make Jungle Scout better and how to improve my FBA business. I did that back to them. So that was a lot of fun. So that's why I'm in Bangkok right now. I'm going to hang out here since I'm on this side of the world until later on this week, when I'm going to go to the Canton Fair. So it's going to be fun. Johnny's going to Bangkok in 2 weeks. Cool. All right. What do you think, gang? Give him 1 more minute and get started?
Yeah, sure. We got about 500 people coming in quick, but yeah, everybody's getting antsy. We just don't want you to get tired, Greg. So keep up your energy.
All right. It shouldn't be too hard. All right. Well, I have a couple minutes past time on my clock, so I guess we'll go ahead and get started. So for those of you who don't know, what we're doing here is a series of webinars. It's going to be a case study where we are selecting a product, sourcing the product, ordering the product, launching the product, the whole process that we go through to get one of these private label products up on Amazon. And we're doing the whole thing totally transparent. We're sharing with you how we find the items. We're going to get your feedback on which item you think we should select. And we're going to tell you about all of, kind of the hiccups and everything we run into along the way. One thing that I found in my personal Amazon business is it never goes smoothly. And I think that's an important part for you guys to know. Whether you have problems with your factory or your payments, or get stuck in customs or anything else, there's always all these little hiccups along the way. And I think it's important for you guys to know that, that's a real life, that's how it actually works. And you have to power through, all those little steps. So it's going to be really cool. And then one of the coolest parts is that at the end, we're going to, put this up on Amazon, and all the money we make, we're going to donate to a charity that we want you guys to help us select. So it's going to be really awesome. All right.
So Greg, maybe you could also know that there have been some really good suggestions for local charities that really mean a lot to people. So we are collecting them, and we'll share them with you because we want it to matter to you guys. So please share any ideas of nonprofits or charities that would be worthwhile to donate to. And then also, as far as the collaborative part, we definitely want your suggestions and comments, and we've been seeing that a lot in the Facebook group, and it's been really helpful for us to know what's important to you guys and what you might want to see. So today, for example, drop it in the chat. We'll be monitoring that, and then make sure that Greg answers all the questions that you guys might have. Yeah,
and another part of it, and this is kind of a selfish thing, but it just helps Gen and I, stay motivated to keep doing these. We're not trying to sell anything through these or make any money off it. We're just doing it to help you guys out. So, having that feedback from you guys, like, oh yeah, we enjoyed it, or going in the Facebook group and saying that, like, oh, hey, thanks for doing that. We suggest you guys do that. That's just to get that feedback from you guys, and that interaction just makes it so much more fun. So we appreciate that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So also, this will be recorded and posted later for anybody who can't stay for the whole thing. No worries. We'll get you there. And then also, Greg, we mentioned a while ago for some other people, looks like there are a bunch of people going to be at the Canton Fair as well, and you're going to organize a meetup. So details to come on that, but I forget the exact detail, the day you said.
Yeah, if you're going to be in the Canton Fair, why don't you guys go into the latest blog post and just leave a note and just say, hey, I'm going to be at the Canton Fair. And then I'll go in there a few days from now after everyone does that. And I will send all you guys a message. I'm just going to hold like an informal Jungle Scout meetup one night. Spot to be determined, maybe just, at like the conference or the bar at my hotel or something. But it'd be awesome to get to meet a lot of you guys. And I know there's going to be a bunch of people at the Canton Fair. So that'd be really fun. All right. Cool. So we'll go ahead and get started then. So for those of you that were with us last week, we found a few products through the product database live. Those consisted of like a film canister, a dumbbell pad, pull-up hand grips. And then after we got off the call, I spent about another 20 minutes just because I wanted a total of like 5 different product ideas. And I came up with bamboo, marshmallow, I guess marshmallow sticks or marshmallow skewers, whatever you want to call them, like sticks that you hold a marshmallow or a hot dog over the fire. And I also came up with training fins that people use when they are, training in the pool. So
is it possible that we could see just what they look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yep. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys. Let me know when it's live, and then
nice. Yep.
Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and just pull up each one of these again. So I think we had film canister. We had these marshmallow sticks, and these are the ones that I like, these bamboo ones. We also had some, let's see, I forget the best keyword. I think I was using pool training, or let's just say training fin. Yeah, and that looks like them. So these training fins. I also had pull-up grips. Pull-up grips that look kind of like this. And for those of you that weren't with us last week, what we're looking for is we're looking for an item that had plenty of demand, yet wasn't too competitive and met some other check boxes. Like we wanted something that was easy to manufacture and source from China. So that usually means that it's simple. There's not too many moving parts. We wanted something that's relatively lightweight, which decreases our FBA fees as well as air shipping costs. We are going to be shipping this air just so that we can get it into the factory, or get it into Amazon quicker. And it's a lot easier. If any of you guys have ever shipped anything by ocean freight before, it's a huge headache. I do it a little bit in my business because it does save some money, yet you really have to be shipping a lot of goods to make it worth it. If nothing else, just because the headaches involved. And then what other criteria am I forgetting again?
Well, just about that, like what's worth it? Is that based on size of shipment or dollars of shipment or frequency? Like, can you describe that a little bit?
Yeah, it usually comes down to how large the items are. So if it's too big or too heavy so that it just, it's a product that sells for $20, but maybe it's a $2 item, but air shipping is going to cost you like $6. It's like, okay, all of a sudden that item's not worth it if I have to ship it air. Maybe I should think about shipping this ocean. But so yeah, it's a money saving thing. It takes a lot longer. Like the goods sit on the boat for a whole month when they're being shipped, and there's a lot more just paperwork and headaches involved. So you really have to be. What I recommend is that everyone just starts off with items that you can get over, air shipments. And then, maybe down the road when you're looking to cut back your costs a little bit and you have a good idea of how often your product sells, that's a good time to switch to ocean shipments. So, maybe if I know that my goods have been selling, $500 a month for every month, it's like, okay, well, now that I can forecast a few months ahead of time, maybe I want to place a shipment via ocean freight now.
Got it. Okay. I don't know if you have an answer for this, but do you have some general breakdown of the margins on, for say this pull-up grip? Let's assume it's $5. What your threshold of setting it by air would be?
It would just vary for each item. So, I mean, just because I know this pull-up grip, look, it's small and it's lightweight. So, like right away, I know that, okay, this is something I want to get air. If it was, it's like this thing down here, this chin-up bar, I would imagine this would be something that'd be like a better candidate for even considering ocean freight. Like something like these these leather pull-up grips or whatever. This is the type of item that I would likely send air like the entire life of this product, just because air shipment maybe it costs $1 per unit. Ocean freight, maybe it costs $0.25, but it's like, to me, it's just not worth it for the headaches. And when you ship something air from China, you can get it in like 2 or 3 days. When you ship it on the slow boat, it literally takes like an entire month. So it's a lot harder to forecast. Your cash is tied up in goods that's sitting on a boat that you can't sell. So if you're starting out, just find an item you can ship air and don't worry about it.
Right. Okay.
All right. So were there any other criteria that we're looking for that I'm forgetting about, Gen?
No, not at the moment. I think you got it all. Well, so one thing is, it looks like these grips come in different sizes. What do you think about that?
Yeah, so we'll kind of get into that. We'll talk about like the pluses and the minuses of each of the items, which ones I like and which ones I kind of don't like.
Sure.
So for those of you guys that were with us last week, this is the Jungle Scout web app, the product tracker. And after we found some of these items we liked, we added them into our product tracker last week, just so we can get an idea of kind of how they're selling, and if any of the items were kind of artificially inflated. So, for instance, this is what I'm looking at here is the film canister. And when we started tracking this a week ago, what the web app did is it monitored the inventory, which is the light blue line, the rank, the light blue kind of bar here, the rank, which is the green line. And then if you look down here, this small little black bar, that's how many units it sold that day. So this was real-time information that the web app collected for us, as we've been monitoring them for the past week. So yeah, let's start with, we'll start at the top and work our way down, and I'll talk about each item, why I don't like it, why I do like it, and then we'll go from there. So
sure. Now, when you're doing this on your own or on your own computer, do you have kind of like a spreadsheet that you're checking in, or prioritize the different criteria?
Once I've narrowed it down to like 5 items, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah. So this, like your pros and cons list, are you going down a checklist, or is this kind of just like evaluate per item?
So to be honest with you, I don't actually write it out. I'll put them into my product tracker so that I kind of have all my ideas stored. But this is definitely something you could create a list and write down the pros and cons of each. Just kind of my personality is the type to just do that type of thing in my head. But yeah, you could certainly, put this into an Excel sheet, your 5 ideas, and, list the pros and cons of each.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. So the first one's the training fin. And so again, this is one of those 2 items that I found. I literally found these within like 10 minutes after we got off the webinar last week. So I just threw in 2 more ideas because I said I was looking for about 5 ideas total. So some good things about this item is there is quite a bit of depth in the market. So for those of you who don't know, so I'm in the Amazon store. I just searched the most relevant keyword, training fin. I pulled up Jungle Scout, and the 2 main items that I'm looking. For those of you who don't know, this is the Jungle Scout extension. I know there was some confusion on that last week. The two main items I'm looking for are the sales and the number of reviews. So when I look at the sales, I said I use the metric that I like to see about 3,000 units being sold of this item. Whereas if I were to add these up, I'd get that because, that's about 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 over that. And there's good depth in the market on this particular item. So, I'm not seeing the top seller selling 3,000 and everyone else selling like a dozen each. That would be a bad sign that, whether he had the brand name I was looking for, whatever. So this is pretty good depth in market. There's quite a few sellers here that are selling, the 10 a day that I'm looking for. And when I look at the reviews, it isn't terribly competitive. If I were to give away, say, if I were to get 50 or 75 reviews, I'd be right up in here with these guys most likely. So, so those are both good things. It passed the kind of the demand with depth and the competitive qualifiers. Let's talk about some of the bad things. And keep in mind, guys, I haven't even started to contact factories for these items. I assume this is probably something that a Chinese factory would be happy to make for me. I see a lot of these that I think are, in my opinions, I don't recognize the brands. So kind of like knockoff or private label brands like Phantom Aquatics. I'm pretty sure that would be like a private label or a knockoff brand. But yeah, one of the bad things that I don't really like about this item is I'm seeing, what's that, 8 different sizes. And, this person or this company is selling like 7 different colors. So do the math, they're stocking like 50 plus different items into Amazon. To me, that sounds like a huge headache and something that I wouldn't want to do. We, of course, would have the option if we did go with this. I would only do one color, and I would probably even try to do it like the 5 most popular sizes. So I imagine like triple extra small. That's probably getting into like children's sizes, I would imagine. And same thing with some of these really large ones. It'd be nice if you could find ones that were like more one size fits all, whether that meant there was little straps in the back or what. But this is, to me, like a huge inventory headache to try to keep a bunch of these different sizes in stock.
Got it.
Yeah. So that's one red flag with the item. Another little bit of a red flag, but doesn't scare me too much, is most of the items in the top 5 or 10 are
Hey,
brands.
Greg, can you hold on 1 second? I think your screen is gone for a second.
All right.
People get a nice look at your nice teeth, apparently, but we lost your picture.
Let me. Looks like maybe I lost the Google Hangouts. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Let me.
I only see your face.
Give me a second. Let me try to refresh it and see what happens.
Okay. Yeah, guys, sorry about that. We've had problems before with this. One of the good and bad things of having such a crowded webinar. But hold on, he is working on that.
Let's see. I'm trying to. Yeah, for whatever reason, my entire room is frozen as well. I don't know if.
You know what? Let me try stop presenting.
I think I have to exit out of my browser actually again. I've got the page of death sign, page unresponsive. You have to kill it. So I'm gonna have to kill it and then I'll open it back up.
Okay.
So I'll
yeah, sure.
right?
I mean, can you open it up in a different browser window so we can still get your voice in the meantime?
Yeah, I can give that a try. Let me see what I can do here.
Okay. And then maybe in the meantime, we can go through a couple of the questions. One that I saw a while ago was Lauren, which is what the target date for launching on Amazon. And that is part of the ambiguous nature of this. So we are doing it in real time, and we don't know even what product or manufacturer we'll be using. The goal was to have it up by the end of the year. Whether that's possible or not, who knows? We're moving as fast as possible. And in case you guys didn't hear before, Greg is going to be at the Canton Fair, which is coincidentally good timing. So that might speed up the sample process, but short answer is we don't know the target date, but we'll try by the end of the year.
Yeah, that's all right.
All right, nice, Greg. I see you. I'm going to give you the present to everyone.
Excellent.
All right.
All right. Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. I got the page froze. Got the little the dead man saying your page had died, but sorry about that. To answer your question about the launch date and time, yeah, unfortunately, even though I've launched a ton of these products myself, and I feel like I have a pretty good timeline, I always run into like little hiccups. I've never had one just go like completely smooth, whether that's like delayed in the manufacturing process, or I ask them to make like my packaging and they send me a picture and it's totally wrong. So it's just open-ended. We don't, like Ken said, we don't have any of this pre-planned. We're doing it live with you. And we'll just be sure to communicate like and tell you like, oh, look, this is the picture that the manufacturer sent back to me with the packaging. It's obviously wrong, so we're gonna have to go back to them. That's gonna add 5 more days onto our process and so on. So go back to our training fins there. Were there any other questions in the chat box again regarding the training fins in particular?
Well, yeah, one of the cons, and some people did note that Speedo is a big brand name and TYR. And I don't know if you're going to get to that in your list of cons, but you were talking about the sizes.
Yeah. So you can see. Can you see my screen again?
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. So yeah, as the crowd obviously noticed, as you can see, TYR, even Cressy and Speedo, it looks like most of these items are kind of controlled by well-known brands. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say whether that's because just no one else has really tried to like private label these items, or people do have a strong like brand allegiance for their fins. I'm not knowledgeable enough about the niche to know for sure. I'm not quite sure if competitive swimmers or whoever using these really care that much whether it's Speedo or not. They may. So that is one of the cons on this item.
And as Mac pointed out, do you think it's seasonal?
So here, I know a good way to find out. So one of the ways we can obviously look is inside of the Google Trends. I'm suspecting that this item sells all year long, but sells a little bit better during certain times. I do believe the people using this type of fin are like competitive swimmers, and those types of people are normally swimming all year long, indoor pools in the wintertime. Google Trends would pretty much confirm my suspicion that it does seem to sell pretty much all year long. Looks like we have little spikes in the middle of the summer, and looks like the middle of the summer and maybe the fall time. I don't know if that's because it's maybe at back to school time. There's people starting swimming at their schools. I'm not quite sure the reason on that. But there's not a big drop off in the wintertime, which is good. So
okay. So Greg, one thing that people find pretty helpful, and we see it in the Facebook groups all the time, is like if you were just looking at this, not even seeing what the product name or the category was, like just looking at the numbers and the ratings and the estimated sales, all things aside, what's your evaluation on this?
Yeah, so that's one of the tough things about evaluating these in the Facebook group. So if I were to look at this, I'd say it looks like a pretty darn good item, right? The estimated sales are solid. There's good depth, so lots of sellers doing well. It's not too competitive. There's not too terribly many reviews. So if I were just to look at the Jungle Scout screenshot, I'd say it's definitely a viable product. But that's when you kind of have to take it one step further and start looking into these seasonality things. Is that an item that I'd be able to get from one of these factories easily? And, those types of things.
Okay.
One of the things we said is there's like tons of sizes and colors, which to me, is a huge inventory headache. So that'd shy me away from it.
Got it. Okay. And then, so one thing you alluded to earlier in the webinar was that you saw inflated sales. What are you looking at to see that?
Inflated sales for this particular product?
Yeah, you said last week it turned out to be inflated sales after you tracked a week of data.
Yeah, so one of the things I look for, and I don't know for sure if it was for this product or not, but one of the benefits of adding these items to our tracker is we can look to try to monitor things like inflated sales. So sometimes you'll see, especially on products that have a low review count, they're more susceptible to being, they're more susceptible to of a large giveaway just done for those items. So sometimes I'll see for those items, like when I start tracking it, the ranks way down here, like 1,000. And then after I track it for a week or 2 weeks, that's gone up to like then 5,000 and 10,000, and the ranks really just shot up. So that to me would be a huge red flag that, okay, when I added this product to my tracker, I thought it was gonna be really good, but it turns out someone had just done a giveaway to kind of artificially inflate the rank and what we estimate the sales to be. So by adding it to the tracker here, we're able to see that. And it looks like, the ranks on these items stay pretty consistent. This is one side of the training fence. It doesn't look like it's selling too well. When it first started, the rank was a little bit better. It appeared to be selling 10 or 15, but then later on this week, it looks like it only sold one day, one the next day, and 4 the next day, which that's not quite the amount of sales we're looking to do. Same thing on this item. So this item actually looks like it's selling pretty well. About 15 or so that day, drops down to 2 the next day, and then sells about 10 for the next few days. So this one's it doesn't look like it was artificially inflated. It just looks like, that's a fairly normal trend to see. One of the good things about that item, I guess, is I've never heard of this company, Phantom Aquatics. That could be a private label seller or just kind of like a knockoff brand.
Sure. Okay.
And same thing with this item. Keep in mind when you look at the green line here, the rank line, you have to look at the scale. So, he's varying between 4,000 and 6,000 rank, which that's not too big of a variation. So, if you see an item go from like 2,000 to like 20 or 50,000, those are the ones that probably have like a really artificially inflated rank. If it sticks within a few thousand, then it hasn't changed much. So, and this item's selling about 10 or 15 a day.
Okay. And for you and for this project, do you think that's sufficient?
Yeah. So our goal going into this was 10 a day. I think that's very realistic, and it should give us enough sales to raise a pretty good amount of money. So all other things as far as the sales and the competition goes, this looks like a pretty viable product. The big red flag in this one for me that I don't like is all the sizes and colors, and that there seems to be some brand allegiance with it.
Sure.
All right.
Cool.
So, yeah, do we have any quick questions? It looks like we're already 30 minutes in. We've only gotten through one product. So,
I definitely have been scrolling through the questions. One relevant question here is from Brenda. What about the number of sellers for this particular product? Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't even really worry about the number of sellers too much. Essentially, that's usually just an indicator that it is um, a well-established brand or a known brand, that there's other people purchasing this product, like wholesale and reselling it on that listing. So, um, so just by looking at that, it looks like all these items, there's more than one seller except for this one right here, this Better Times brand. So, this is probably a private label brand where all the rest are, well-known name brands.
Sure. So James Echo was asking then how many pages, how many times do you click that extract next page? Sounds like
Yeah,
none.
I usually don't do it at all because no one's gonna, for this particular keyword, training fins, I doubt anyone's gonna be buying from the second page. That's just how Amazon works. And it's probably the same for you. If you go on Amazon, search for something, you probably buy something off that first page or even the top like 5 results. You don't go digging into the second, third, fourth page.
Got it.
I don't either when I do my product research.
Okay, great. Yeah, so let's check out that second product.
All right, so this doesn't work my way down. These marshmallow sticks. All right, so again, this is one of those 2 products that I found after last week's webinar when we got off. These I started tracking them. I don't really see any artificial inflation from when I started. The ranks between 400 and whatever 1500, which is pretty consistent. Same thing on this one, and this one is selling like crazy. 20 or 30 sales a day, which is pretty fantastic for marshmallow sticks. So go ahead and search this inside of Amazon.
So again, this is something you use the same criteria that we reviewed on the webinar. You just click through on more pages.
Yeah, that's exactly right. On the webinar, I forget how many pages we had in the product database. We only got to like the first or second one. So when we got off, I just spent like a few minutes. I think I went to like 2 more pages and just pulled out like 2 more ideas. So that's what's great about the product database is there's literally like hundreds and hundreds of ideas. So, which brings me to a point, guys. I definitely recommend not purchasing any of these items that we're talking about during this webinar. For one, we're trying to get one of these items to raise money for charity. So, please don't go in and sell this at the same time we are. And what you need to take away from this is like the methods, we're using to find this. There's literally like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of products that are probably even a better opportunity than these few that we're looking at. So, don't go on to sell one of these items that, we're doing during this webinar. Just what you want to take away from is, the methods. That's the best thing you can do. Yeah. So when I search marshmallow sticks, it looks like I have a few different styles here. I'll pull up the Jungle Scout extension. As you can see, we're seeing a ton of sales. Everyone in the top 5 is selling over 1,000. And, I'm seeing a person with 16 reviews, a person with 17 reviews. Both these guys have around 100. So a ton of depth, let's even past the top 5. All those people are selling a lot. A lot of them don't have a ton of reviews. When I search this, since I see a bunch of styles, one of the things I can do is I can sort by estimated sales to see which styles are selling the best. So the top one's not even a marshmallow stick. I'm seeing like a metal type. Looks like the same one. Again, the same one. This looks like a telescoping one. Here now I'm seeing bamboo. The same one as the top. Bamboo. So it looks like there's 2 styles that are kind of selling well. Another thing I might want to do is filter out any of the ones that are priced too low for me to really be concerned with. So I'm going to go ahead and X out of that top one. After that, some of these are priced lower than what I want. let me go ahead and filter this actually. Let me see which ones are priced more than $20. So the two that are priced higher, and I like higher priced items because it usually means that there's more for margins, is both of these are groups of, well, let me open them. Both of these are bamboo skewers. So they're both selling for like 28 bucks. They're selling a ton, like 30 a day. And one person has 170 reviews. The other person only has 16 reviews. So, so it's pretty remarkable to me. Let me look at this one too. So this one sold by Amazon. The listing's pretty bad. I see 5 crappy bullet points and a 2-sentence description with 1 picture. So I can easily make a better listing than this one. With this item, this is sold by a third-party seller. But again, 1 picture that I can't even get a feeling of how long this thing is. All I know how long these are. All I know is they have pointed ends. And same thing, they have better bullet points. I think we could do a better job than them. And the product description is non-existent. I don't know. I don't see it. So what I'm getting at is I could definitely make a better listing as either of these people. They're selling 100 bamboo skewer marshmallow sticks for $28. I never priced these out myself, but I'm guessing we could get them for like $5. So, obviously great margins. One thing, so those will be all the pros of this item. One of the cons is this is an oversized item. And even though these are like relatively small, lightweight, I can see the lengths like 30 or 36 inches. And remember, anything that doesn't essentially fit in a shoebox is oversized. So I think the longest length on the standard oversized tier is 18 inches. So these are going to be oversized items, which means the Amazon's going to limit us to 500 units stored in their factory at a time. And as you can see, the fees are quite a bit higher. For a $28 item, they're taking like $10 out for fees, whereas this was standard size. The fees might only be like, they'd probably only be like $5. So significantly higher fees. However, there seems to still be enough money left over for us, $17 after the FBA fees, which means that, as long as we can get these for like $8 or less landed, we can still get 100% ROI on our investment. So I like this item quite a bit. Do you have any thoughts on it, Gen?
Yeah, well, a lot of people are concerned about the seasonality and the Google Trends being kind of spiky. So can we check that out?
Yep. So seasonality. There is definitely a little bit of seasonality on this item. It looks like people are either roasting s'mores on the beach in the summertime or over the fire around Christmas. Once I see it get to the late winter, January, February, April, our sales are not as good. So it looks like that's pretty consistent. So as you can see, it looks like the sales in December are about twice as good as they are in January, but then even throughout the summer and fall, it's good. So there is a little bit of seasonality with this item. January, February, March would probably be a little bit slower, definitely your worser months. However, it still seems like a pretty good product. One other thing we can check, let me see if we have much rank data on this. It looks like the ranks stayed pretty consistent from today. This is only giving us back to August, though, with the exception of a little stint here in October, where I'd guess they ran out of inventory then. For those of you who don't know, Jungle Scout obviously has that little rank tracker built in, but I always, before I actually order an item, I go to Camel as well. For those of you who don't know the site, it's camelcamelcamel.com. You enter a URL or an ASIN. And again, this is going to give you sales rank information. So this gives it back again only till June. So maybe they just launched it then. But like I said, I would guess during these few spikes right here, I'd guess they ran out of inventory. But overall, it's been selling really well since June at least. But I guess, judging by the Google information there, the Google Trends information, the only bad months seem to be, like January, February, March. So,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
So a little bit of, the cons of this item are that it is going to be oversized and it is, I'd say, slightly seasonal. So not real, it's not as much as like a pool float, but there is a seasonality aspect to it.
So Rose is wondering if there's a restriction on importing bamboo and wood products. Do you know if that's true, or is that something we should look into before we move further?
Yeah, so that would be something that I'm not familiar with. None of my products that I'm currently selling are made out of bamboo. Yeah, so that's something that once if I decided this is the product I want to move forward with, that is something I would definitely look into. And then another thing, obviously, since people are going to be eating hot dogs or marshmallows off these, I definitely want to talk to the factory to see what kind of like quality testing they've done. If they have any certifications, maybe I should look into seeing if there's any like FDA regulations. So there's definitely, I guess that'd be another con for this item, is that there is some, a few things like that we need to look into.
Got it. Okay. Cool. So maybe that this is just right now a high potential product.
Yeah, that's exactly right. High potential product.
Great. Okay. Shall we check out the third track product?
Yep. So our next one is pull up hand grips. So let's see, I think we're just calling those pull up grips. All right. It looks like, these are a little piece of leather that fit over your hand. Have a little thing for your wrist there. So let's see what Jungle Scout looks like this week. It looks like there is enough demand, and again, good. Whoops, sorted by it. It looks like there's enough demand and good depth. So, I'm seeing a bunch of different sellers selling over 300 a month, which is what our target is. So that's good. Again, as a reminder, if that top guy had all the sales and no one else was selling any, that'd be a big red flag. There's not too many reviews. The top guy only has 4, but look at his price compared to everyone else. And then I see that, there's other people with 70, 25, 130, 60. These are all realistic numbers of reviews to get within the near future. Price is, for the most part, where I like it at. I do see, one guy selling for $10 and one guy selling for $7.50. Just looking at their pictures, it looks like they both kind of have like a cheaper product. So I'd probably want to try to find a higher end one, whether that meant, including a bag like this or, just an overall higher quality product, because there's no money to be made on selling a $10 item on Amazon. As you can see, this guy for $10, the net is $5.82, but it's like, do they cost those things? Does it cost him $3? It means there's $2.80 to be made on each one. It's, that's not much. It'd be a lot nicer to make $10 on a product. So yeah, and then if we dig into some of these items, let's look at some of the ones we like. So maybe this one, Bear Complex. Again, kind of the same thing that we saw with the training fins. I'm seeing 3 different colors, which again, I'd probably just start with one color, but I'm also seeing 4 different sizes. So not as bad as the fins, but I would probably have to order, the 4 different sizes similar to this person in one color. So again, a little bit more of an inventory headache. Trying to keep 4 different sizes in stock, especially if I don't know. I'm trying to see if they have different. No, so see Amazon. Sometimes Amazon gives you a different rank for different colors or sizes. In sports and outdoors, they don't. So we have no indicator of which of these sizes are selling the best. If we did, we could try and maybe we could pick like the 2 best sellers or the 3 best sellers just to try to keep the headaches down on our part. So yeah, pros of this item, it's really nice and simple, which is a good thing. I'm sure we could get this from a factory in China. There's good depth in the market. It's not too competitive. Downsides are there are, again, different sizes, which is a little bit of a pain. Another one is we do have some competitors that are selling for super cheap. So we would need to make ours higher end, whether that means including a bag or a different material, a different color, something to make ours stand out so that we were, in this $20 or $30 price point instead of these $10 price points.
Sure.
Yeah. What about, do we have anyone in the chat box, any questions about this particular product? Or just the general methodologies I'm using here? I know I'm moving through these pretty fast for someone who's just starting out.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely do. Maybe we can touch on them later as far as reviews. People are really curious about reviews, and then moving forward, what our initial purchase would be as far as like our first order.
Quantity size? Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll touch on both those at the end. Another one, film canister. Film canister. So, as you guys remember last week, this is another one we found during the webinar. We've been tracking some of these items, and they have, so this one's a 15-pack. This item hasn't been selling as well. So I see 6, 10, 2, and 10. So still not bad, but I like to see something that's selling a little bit better. This is a pack of 60, which has sold 7, 9, 19. I only won that day, then 15. That one's definitely selling better though. And then if we go to the search page here on film canister, we see that again, we're estimating that this largest pack, this 60 pack, is selling the best, maybe about 1,000 a month. Where some of the smaller packs aren't quite selling as well. However, there is quite a few sales, not as much depth in the market as what some of those other items had. Once we get past product number 4 here, it doesn't look like if we were down here that we'd be able to meet those 10 sales a day. Very non-competitive though. It's like 26, 29, 76, like hardly anyone has any reviews. For this particular product, I would probably do a larger pack, maybe even like a pack of 75 of this one that's selling well. If I were to get 50 reviews, I could probably be right up here with this guy. This is definitely something that'd be easy to manufacture in China. To be honest with you guys, I did search for this item on Alibaba just out of curiosity, and I didn't see anything pop up. And the one thing that sparked my interest, or maybe this is the only item actually I've even searched for on Alibaba so far, but the one thing that kind of concerned me about if I could find a Chinese factory was I saw it's a U.S. company packaged and shipped in the United States. So yeah, my initial searches on Alibaba, I couldn't find any canisters like this. However, I just made a quick search, just looked at it for 1 minute. So it could definitely be, it's definitely a possibility. I just couldn't find it right away. As far as Seasonality, I doubt a film canister is seasonal. Considering nobody uses these old cameras anymore, I'm guessing people are using this product for other reasons, whether that's storing small parts or herbs or rockets. I think people put what's that Alka-Seltzer in them and they pop up, explode for a science project. So I doubt it's seasonal. It probably sells about the same all year long. And then let's see.
Looks like somebody did find it on Alibaba. So
Okay,
that puts it back in the running.
cool. Google Trends agrees with us
Rowdy,
that. Thanks, Rowdy. Looks like it's not seasonal. You do see a downward trend, which is what you would expect since 2005.
Oh, hey, Greg. Sorry, you cut out for a minute.
Okay, am I back?
Yeah.
All right, great. Google Trends is kind of interesting. Very interesting, actually. I wonder what people are using these for. Obviously,
some comments in the that people smoke pot, so maybe it's marijuana related.
Okay, all right. So it could be to store your medical marijuana. The Google Trends is kind of what you would expect. Back when people were using film canisters more, or using actual film more, these are a lot more popular. Since the advent or the popularity of the digital camera, it's kind of leveled off. And then just recently, in the past 2 months, they've gotten really popular again. So without a good understanding what everyone's using or searching these for, that could be a little bit of a red flag. Let's go ahead and search for this product in Camel and see what they have to say about it. All right, so I'm going to search that. And again, guys, this is camel.com. Pretty fun name. I have no idea why it's named that, but it's a great source of information. It looks like we only have information back to, okay, cool, a whole year's worth of information. So this has definitely gotten more popular over the months. A year ago, their rank was fluctuating between 1,000 and 5,000. As you can kind of see over the months, it's gotten tighter and tighter and better, which means sales are improving. So I don't see a big spike here like I saw on Google Trends, though. So yeah, I mean, overall, the pros of this item are it's not competitive. It'd be super easy to get 50 reviews and rank right up here with these guys. It seems to be like a hot item right now. However, I would like to do a little more research on why this item's selling well. Whether it's medical marijuana related or people are using these for other things. One thing that I'd kind of look for to be worried about is, let's see, we're in October now. When kids went back to school, were a lot of these being purchased for, these rocket experiments? I don't know. That's something you want to try to get an idea of how the market's going to see whether is this going to be viable, 6 months or a year or 2 years from now. I want something, for the long play. So yeah.
Yeah. If you did click through on that link from Rowdy, what's interesting is the image is the exact same as a third ranked product there.
So that's a huge red flag, guys. I'm not saying that factory couldn't manufacture this product, but what I've learned over the years is that these sourcing agents, they're not dumb, in China will find products that are selling well on Amazon. They'll just steal their photos, they'll put it up on Alibaba, and then they'll tell you that, yeah, we make this product. Well, when it really comes, it's like, okay, so you already make this product right now? Well, go ahead and just send me, a few items as a sample of the ones off the shelf since you're already creating it. And they're like, well, actually, it's going to take us a month to make the mold and to, manufacture this. And it's like, okay, so you just stole the picture off Amazon and claimed to sell it.
Right.
So Yeah. So, we could contact them, see if they,
Well, Greg, one
could
more
make it.
twist is it's being
Yeah.
sold. Place of origin is Colorado. So
On
maybe it's easier.
Alibaba?
Yeah.
Oh, so maybe it's the same person. Okay. So that's a twist. So maybe that's the same person that's selling them here on Amazon. I don't know. So
Possible.
those are all things we can look into.
Great.
All right, cool. And then looks like we're at almost an hour here. We'll look at this last one, which was a squat pad. Oops. Squat pad. All right, and we pull up the Jungle Scout information on here. This item, I think, was artificially inflated last week. When I look at some of these, last week when we added it, they were selling 10 or 15 a day. Now it looks like they're selling like 2 or 4 a day. And the other thing is when I pull up the Jungle Scout on this, it doesn't look like there's quite as many sales as what we were seeing before. If I remember it last week, I think there was a few of these people that were supposedly selling, 1,000 or 1,500 a month. I don't see those anymore, which I'm guessing there was a giveaway. And the Jungle Scout web app information kind of agrees with that. It is simple and lightweight, which is nice. Another thing I don't really like about this item is there's definitely some other private label sellers on it. And let's see again here. The number of reviews, it's doable. A few more. I guess the main thing I don't like about this item is it seems like it's one that's really popular for private labelers. So probably it's going to, be more competitive. And there's just not a ton of sellers that are selling the 300 a month or more that, we're personally looking for. The price point's pretty good. Again, same thing. There's a few guys that we'd have to compete for with these low prices. It's like this guy's selling his for $7. That's kind of tough to compete with. You can see the net there that what we would be left over with if we try to sell an item for $7.30. We'd lose money on it. There are some other higher price items, but yeah, personally, I don't like this item. I think we have better ones to go with.
All right, great.
All right. So we're coming to an hour here. Again, let's just discuss which items we've gone over the 5 items that we found last week. Which ones are, and I'm gonna come back so you see my face here. Which one of these items? I'd like to hear your opinion again. I mean, which one do you have 1 or 2 that your favorite that you think we should start getting prices on, or what?
Well, Greg, this is your show. I'm going to defer to you. But with that said, I think that the marshmallow sticks and the canisters both have potential. I think there's some interesting macro trends when we talk about the film canisters and legalized marijuana. We got some bills coming up in November. So we might see increased demand. Looking in the chat, I'm seeing that people have a variety of uses for film canisters. So we won't be naive and think that people are just taking it for old school film. And I think that we can bulk sell it. So
we're getting feedback in the chat, which I like. Why don't you guys, if you haven't already, put in there what your favorite. I'm seeing a lot of bamboo, which is cool. I think I won't tell you which one yet. It's my favorite. Marshmallow sticks, cool.
Jeez, I wish I had prepped a poll.
Could we do a poll real quick again? How quick is that to? I mean, we can get a general gist here. It looks like a lot of people like the bamboo sticks, or it looks like the pull-up gloves is the second highest one.
Okay, yeah, I'm putting it together. If you guys can just give me 1 second.
All right. Cam, the 5 options are the flippers, the film canister, the bamboo sticks.
We're gonna do bamboo
Uh,
sticks in metal and bamboo, marshmallow sticks, because a lot of people are saying that there might be some legal aspect to importing wood and fumigation.
okay.
Is that cool
All
to
right.
include?
So, yeah, we'll just do bamboo sticks in general. The bamboo ones seem better from a pricing standpoint, but that's something that I've never looked into before with the legal aspects, especially because people are going to be eating off these. I'm not terribly concerned with it, but I definitely want to look into it before I actually went ahead and ordered like 1,000 of these things.
Yeah. All right, we are getting an onslaught of replies, but if you guys could just click real quick, just one choice, and it's pretty cool. You guys can see it in real time.
Oh, nice. This is awesome.
A battle between marshmallows and film canisters, the bamboo marshmallow sticks. So yeah, maybe we can just run this for a little bit. Greg, are you willing to put your trust with the crowd and just go with the winner here?
Sure. Why not? I think I'm sure we have a smart crowd here. We've gone over all the pros and cons with all of them, so that's cool.
And
So
yeah, maybe we can also just write out. For me, it always helps to have it in writing, pros and cons. I'll put it down in the blog. But if there are variables like it's a shipping or like it's a bulk packaging, or like if the film canisters are being manufactured in the U.S. and also sold FBA by the same manufacturer, what that might be like, how we could differentiate. But in the meantime, while we're collecting these answers, there were some questions about the reviews and the review process. Like you mentioned that, we'll just get 50 reviews here and we'll be in the top 3. Can you kind of like explain how somebody would go about that?
Yeah, so we're going to go about that by offering our product at a discount to people who agree that they'd be willing to leave a review. Okay, and this is by Amazon's terms of service. So we can say, hey, we'll give you our product for free or for $1, for $2. We'll give you a coupon code for it. In return, we'd like for you to leave an honest review. And we really do want honest reviews for people, guys. Not only is it against Amazon's terms of service to say like, hey, I would like a good review, but it's also just unethical. And if we abuse the review system, it's something that Amazon's going to crack down on. They might no longer allow people to receive a discount or a free item in exchange for a review. So we definitely don't want to abuse that system at all. So we're just going to ask for like, hey, if you wouldn't mind, please leave us an honest review on the item and let us know what you think about it. And the product we choose, we're going to get something that we know is high quality. So it's not a big deal if, people are leaving 4-star reviews, if we get like 1 or 2 upset people with like 3-star reviews. Overall, if you pick a high quality product, we seriously just want honest reviews from people. And that's what we're going to emphasize to them. How we go about giving those products away, I don't want to get too far ahead in the process here. I don't want people to worry that far ahead. That we have that process figured out, but right now we just need to select a good product and start finding a factory for it. So if any of you guys can't see the poll, it looks like the bamboo marshmallow sticks leading with 39% of the votes. Film canisters are number 2 with 34% of the votes. And then no one seems like the metal sticks or the training flippers. Pull-up grips would be the next runner. So
yeah, I think people are seeing some possible liabilities with the metal marshmallow sticks, but then equal liabilities with the food, possibly with a bamboo.
Yeah. Okay. So those are both things we have to take into consider. So yeah.
Yeah. So can we talk, moving forward, assume we find the manufacturer. Now, how many would we purchase upfront? How would that process go? And then how would we kind of like allocate that inventory?
Good question. So whatever one we end up choosing, Easy answer is I'd like to order about 1,000 units right off the bat. More complicated answer is that might change a little bit depending on the factory. Or another thing we have to kind of keep in mind, if we do the bamboo sticks, it is oversized. So we can only store 500 at a time in Amazon's warehouse. So then it's like, okay, do we want to store, if we order 1,000, we want to store 500 in our garage for a month? Yeah, I mean, that's probably not a big deal, but something to think about. Another thing, maybe the factory has like a minimum order quantity of 1,200 and we can't talk them down to 1,000. It's like, all right, then we'll just order 1,000. Or maybe we decide, we're not quite sure about the item. Or for instance, like the marshmallow sticks, it's like the one bad thing about doing, or another kind of bad thing about doing that one for this case study is that we'd probably get this product in December. So it would kind of stink that the slow time, like January, February, March, would be essentially like our first 3 months with the product. But at the same time, it appears to still sell well enough during those months. So yeah, we'll think about that a little bit more when it comes time. But I'm thinking roughly like minimum 500, more likely probably 750 or 1,000.
Okay. Okay, guys, also, we might be wrapping up shortly, so please drop any questions you have in the chat box, and we'll make sure Greg gets to it. If not now, then in the blog or in the Facebook group. But, Greg, my question just kind of slipped my mind. Fuck.
No worries.
Yeah, it was a question that we had here, so maybe I'll have to find it.
Okay. Yeah, we can look back, and then we can also as you guys can see, the questions are coming through our chat box pretty quick. Obviously, faster than we can answer all of them. If we see a few of these or a common question that we didn't get to, that's something that we can answer on the blog as well. So, like we said, junglescout.com/blog. That is going to be the kind of the meeting place for, or the place where we document and you can follow along with this whole journey. So Nick, my favorite one right now is the bamboo marshmallow stick. However, gonna have to look into like the certification thing a little bit more, see if I can find anything on if that's required. I like it right now, even though it is oversized, that it's not enough to deter me. My second favorite is probably a tie between the film canister and the pull-up grips. I would love the film canister, except I have worries about whether we can get that manufactured or not. So, but guys, moving forward from here, it looks like the audience has voted that they also like the bamboo marshmallow sticks. So I think that's going to be our #1 choice. But we're going to go ahead and try to contact factories for the film canister and the pull-up grips as well, just so we have some backups here. And then what we'll do here is we are going to, like I said, contact factories for these 3 different types of items. I have a generic template. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go to Alibaba, search for these products, take this generic template that we'll post on the blog, and I'm going to just blast this out to every factory I can find. And then what I'll find is a lot of these aren't going to get back to me. And the few that do, those are the ones that will take the discussion further. So we're going to go ahead and start contacting factories this week or Monday or whatever. And then we'll follow up in the next kind of webinar series that we do about kind of how we found these factories, what kind of our problems were with them, or I shouldn't say it in such a negative way, but what you'll find is it's difficult communicating with these factories and, whoever's doing this work for us. One thing that I kind of mentioned at the beginning of the show, and some of you guys might already know, I am actually, and the series just happened to work out like this, but there's something in China called the Canton Fair. If you're not familiar with it, it's like just this huge convention where a whole bunch of the factories in China come and get together to showcase their products. So I'm actually going to this. It's in 3 phases. I think phase 1's probably going on right now. I'm headed to Guangzhou, I think that's how you say it, on Friday. I'm going to catch the last 2 days of phase 2 and the first 2 days of phase 3. And so while I'm there, I'm going to go ahead and just look to see if I can find a factory for one of these items. It'd be cool to not only meet a supplier, but just see the product there. We will also do this is my first time too going to this Canton Fair in China, so don't feel like you have to do this to be able to source products. I have almost 40 private label type items now, and this is my first time ever going there, so it's definitely not a requirement. And we're going to go about the sourcing process by contacting suppliers through Alibaba, and just like you would if you were going to the Canton Fair. So
right, and we will be sharing that the email template that you'll be using and our correspondence.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll hold this blog post that Gen and I will put together. That will go over everything we talked about tonight, how you select one of the products we were talking about. And then our next webinar and our next blog post will be about the contacting the factories. That webinar and blog post will be more valuable when we have these case studies to show you, look, this is what I sent them. I sent this to 20 factories. These are the ones that got back to me. This is what they said. And you'll see some factories, we'll go over that next time, but that will be, it'll be better to share all that after we have some real life experiences.
Sure. Don't forget to take photos for us who can't make it.
Yeah, I'll take a bunch of pictures and maybe a little video or something at Canton Fair so you guys get an idea what it's like. And then, like I said, if any of you other guys are going to be at the Canton Fair, post it in the blog. And I'm going to do just a real informal Jungle Scout meetup. Just maybe get a little conference room at the hotel I'm staying at, or maybe the bar there. I don't know, something, a restaurant. So just put it in there, and I'll shoot out an email to all you guys. We can have a get together. We'll share the photo with everyone the next webinar. And then I guess I didn't go over the date. Since I'm going to be in China, normally we've been doing this on Tuesdays. Next Tuesday, I am going to be in China. My understanding is internet's a little different over there. I don't even know, to be 100% honest with you, I'm not sure if they allow webinars or Google Hangouts. Well, Google's blocked, so I'm guessing Google Hangouts is blocked. So just stay tuned. All you guys are on at the email list for this. We'll just send you an email, and it might be a last minute type thing, oh, hey, 2 days from now, we're going to squeeze in another webinar, because I am going to Hong Kong in between my time in China. So maybe that's a time we can do the webinar. So just stay tuned. And,
so that Thursday you're in Hong Kong is Thursday, October 29th.
Yes. So Gen and I were talking about we might be able to do it when I'm in Hong Kong, which is the 29th. So yeah, that's
all right. Yeah, we'll looks like we'll have a lot of these people in the chat at the Canton Fair. So we'll put that up in the blog and then keep you guys. Yeah. So
I think. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just laughing at some of the chat here. Saying oh yeah, nothing works in China, whatever. Yeah, I know you can do the VPN thing, or I guess some people are doing that, but I know they're doing live webinars are already kind of hard enough with the whole internet thing. It's man, if you also have to put it through a VPN, I think the chances of that webinar going smoothly is probably pretty slim. Even with good internet connections, we have all kinds of problems with live webinars. So yeah.
Yeah. So we will be cutting out now, I guess, but the chat will remain open, so you guys can stay active there if you need. And then, yeah, again, junglescout.com/blog is where we'll be keeping the updates. And then we will get this video up on the YouTube channel, which is just Jungle Scout.
All right. Well, it's been fun. Thank you guys for all your feedback and your joining in with the chat, and I hope you got a lot out of it. It looks like the poll's about the same as last time we mentioned it. So yeah, from here on, we're going to start contacting some factories.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you, Greg.
All right. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Bye.